World famous McClain Leg-Hiking coming up in about 10 minutes. John McClain with us. This is Davis Mills on D'Amico Ryans. If you ever thought, there's been a lot of hype about D'Amico Ryans. I'm not sure Davis Mills helps build up that hype. Here's Davis Mills talking about his new head coach.
It's been great. I mean, have somebody who's walking in and has as much juice as him in team meetings and out on the field. You just get a ton of respect for it, and knowing that he's been in your shoes, he's experienced some of the heat during training camp practices that we're going to have to go through. Oh boy, gives you a lot of respect, but also, I mean, it makes it exciting. It's kind of a new wave of energy in the building around here, and I mean, we're all excited to get rolling once we get to the season.
Goodness, man.
Wish Davis gets some of that energy.
Yeah.
That
Boy,
was
he's been pretty dry.
Riveting.
He's been pretty pretty dry.
The first time when he got drafted, he was at a TriStar show over at Reliant Arena, and three of us went to interview him, including me and Berman. And TriStar said a thing with their logo, and he had not signed. And we talked to him. He was really good. He was informative, entertaining, made us laugh. And then I was told that Easterby and Casario didn't like that he talked to us because they just don't like it if they can't control it. And from that point on, they must have read him the riot act.
Yeah, but what's the reason
he's
now?
Been so bland.
Because we get guys talking like crazy and funny.
I think they scared him to death. They did the same thing to Savage. Yeah. After he was drafted, he was great. He gets here, no.
Do you think that this Shaq Griffin, Steven Nelson position battle is the most intriguing one of all? I went through the list of the position battles. I said Mill Stroud. You can roll your eyes at that. And then Shaq versus Steven Nelson, the slot receiver battle, and Kenyon Green versus maybe himself.
Let me roll my eyes on the quarterback. Shaq Griffin's not the starter. It's Nelson. Nelson wasn't at the off-season program. That's why they put Griffin as first team. Nelson was only there 2 days. So they like Steven Nelson, and Griffin gives them more depth. I saw a thing on Pro Football Focus this week. They had Javier Thomas as a number 4 slot corner in the league last year, and they listed slot snaps by all the top 10. And he had by far the most snaps in the slot, and I had no idea about that because they were so bad. But, you got your top 3 with Desmond King's the other one, and so they like their veterans, and Griffin gives them 5 corners. I'm not sure how many they'll keep, at least 5 if there's any young guys that can come through out there. But if Nelson is 29, the last year of his contract, so they ought to be able to get the best out of him. And Griffin's hungry because he was cut, and so it should be fun to watch all those corners.
John McClain with us here on In the Loop on Sports Radio 610 at noon. Davis Mills, he's going to try to hype it up a little old school style. So I hear all these like passing stats, and I hear like Steven Nelson's stats, and the Texans didn't allow a touchdown last year in the secondary, and Javier Thomas. Do you think maybe these like coverage stats are a little bit misleading because they were so bad at stopping the run?
Well, that's always the case. Like they were like 6th in the league in opposing quarterback rating. But quarterbacks are still throwing, so they did pretty well, and that was because Lovey, the year before they weren't as good, and the year before that they were like 106.7. So a lot of it had to do with zone. But, yeah, anytime a team runs the ball and you get obliterated like they have been, not just last season, they've been awful against the run. They weren't even going back to 2018 when they were great. But something happened after that, and they were never the same even in 2019. So different coaches, different line coaches, different coordinators, different players, and they couldn't stop the run. And D'Amico says they have to. Well, they better, or he's going to have to put on some pads and come back out there because I can't remember. There's never seen a team as bad consistently as they have been against the run. And but, yeah, there's fewer pass attempts because why would you be dumb enough to throw a lot if you can just pound it and run it down their throats?
So why is it just an assumption then that Steven Nelson is going to automatically take that role?
Well, that's just my assumption because he's the starter, and I can imagine he's going to get beat out by Shaq Griffin. He might.
Yeah. I mean, Griffin's younger.
He's been a Pro Bowler.
He's been a Pro Bowler. Probably a better overall track record.
But he's available for a reason.
Sure. But he was also injured.
And Nelson was also available for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they signed him in free agency. So Nelson will go in as the starter, and Griffin will have a chance to beat him out. One guy I'm really intrigued about because he just looks like you can tell he muscled up is Derek Stingley Jr. since he was a disappointment as a rookie. And even when he played, he didn't play as well because he was playing so much zone. He's a man corner. He needs to get up on receivers and turn and run. And several times during the off-season program, he was sprinting down the sideline, reaching up, batting away practices, and he kind of looks like physically kind of looks like a strong safety. So it's good to see that he can still run. And I know he's got to be frustrated, and he's got to have a lot of incentive to show that they made the right pick on the third pick instead of taking Sauce Gardner, the defensive rookie of the year.
If Kenyon Green doesn't start, who will?
The Michael Dieter, who has played 4 years with Miami, started off and on at center. He was running first team left guard. At some point, I was watching, they had Quisenberry, and I think Quisenberry, he's going to have a hard time making the team because Dieter can play center. He's been a starter at center. He can play guard. I think it would be Michael Dieter.
Okay.
What about Patterson?
The rookie?
Yeah, I don't see him starting right away. Dieter's got his starting experience. He played for the Dolphins, and last year he was just special teams player. And but it better be Kenyon Green, but we don't know anything about his recovery. The last thing he can afford to do is not have time to work out.
Better be in shape.
When you got a knee injury, you can work on your upper body, and but so much of a lineman's power comes from their legs and their butt. And to keep from getting steamrolled, you better have that ass built up. And
build up that ass.
If you've got a knee injury, it's hard to do that. Now maybe he'll be ready for the start of the camp. Maybe he won't. Will he be ready for preseason? Will he be ready for the joint practices? I can't wait to watch the joint practices and see like their linemen on both sides of the ball going up against the Dolphins and the Saints linemen and the corners and the receivers. That's when it gets much more interesting than an off-season program.
Yeah, Casario mentioned that with C.J. Stroud. I think that's going to be the most important form of evaluation.
Absolutely. We'll get to see if he knows where to throw it and if he's accurate.
Because people crank it up in those practices. Some people get bored in preseason. Hell, DeAndre Hopkins is known for not practicing. He's had 2 viral moments during joint practices. Yeah. Joint practices, he's fighting guys. He's out there wanting to be out there. So it'll be interesting. Normally we do it at 11:20. We're going to do it a little early today. It is time for world-famous McClain Leg-Hiking. Concept very simple. We throw takes at John McClain. Not necessarily our own. He either agrees or he hikes the leg. Start it off, OG.
Dusty Baker is the biggest problem with this Astros team.
Hike it, Figgy. I think it's not his fault that all the players are not hitting, fielding, and pitching the way they should. I think he would be number 2. John Pendergast had a Pender poll, and he put Dana Brown on there. He hadn't been around here long enough. And he came from a team that spent a lot of money to re-sign veterans. The Astros have not done that. I wonder if Jim Crane's going to change his philosophy, seeing his team struggle and may not make the playoffs. If they could get in the playoffs with that 3-man rotation, that would help. But will he change his philosophy for Kyle Tucker?
Yeah.
Because if he doesn't, Tucker's gone. But it'll be a while.
Yeah.
Well, that would suck.
That would suck.
The trade for Justin Verlander was the best trade in the history of Houston sports.
I get Figgy. I think Earl Campbell was a little better.
There you go. Earl Campbell.
How many rings he got? I'm just kidding. I love Earl.
John McClain is going to take an extended vacation this summer.
Extended. Hike it, Figgy. I'm in and out. I'm going to be in Maryland.
You and Berman should go to Europe.
I'm going to be in Maryland for a week.
Go 10 days to Europe, 15 days to Europe.
Florida for 5 days, but I'm going to still be doing all my shows because I can do everything there.
You can do it from
I was offered a chance here to take a couple days off and still get paid in the past.
Yeah.
If we want to go, but I like being on the air. I just like talking sports, so I try not to miss any days.
Crabs are overrated.
Yes, I agree. My wife loves them. I go to Maryland. We go to great spots. I eat crab cakes, but Carol can eat crab like crazy, and I eat shrimp or other kind of fish.
Oh man, I thought you were a crab guy.
I can't wait to get up on the Chesapeake Bay. Got all these places.
When are you going? Going for a weekend?
No, I'm going for, I think, 7 days.
There you go.
We'll spend first day in Annapolis, second day in Baltimore, third day in D.C., and the fourth one in across the water on a boat. Can't wait.
John McClain's going to get white boy wasted on his vacation.
Yeah, I think I will, but it doesn't take much with me. And Carol drives all the time.
How much does it take?
Yeah, a couple of beers, and I'm starting to get dizzy.
Two beers.
I don't ever drink and drive because I know it's not like when I was younger and I could put them away.
There you go.
A couple glasses of wine, and
you're feeling all right.
I'm starting to say, "Oh, that Landry's great." I love Landry.
You're not going to go
I love
crazy.
Landry.
You're not
You got to be
crazy.
drunk. You got to be drunk to say that. Good
right.
Lord.
The Astros miss James Click.
Hike it, Figgy. I don't think they missed Click. Click wouldn't have been able to make any moves right now anyway. I like Dana Brown, and I want to see what he's going to do because right now they're pitching all these rookies going on 30 years old. If they were any good, they already would have been there. I don't blame J.P. Francis pitched above and beyond. And be like he's been down in the minors. He pitched as well as he could. Ronel Blanco. Those injuries have hurt the pitching staff, but it's the hitters and the fielders, the star players who are not producing the way they should. And, of course, they need Alvarez back.
So my wife went to the Astros game. She was in the stadium club with some friends, and you were on Fox Sports. And she pointed to the TV and she said, "I know that guy." And her friends then said, "Oh, is that the Chiefs coach?"
Well, I consider that an honor.
That's what I was going to say.
I wasn't wearing red.
John McClain being mistaken for Andy Reid is a compliment.
Yeah, Andy might think it was an insult, but I certainly think it's a compliment. But you'll never see me wearing red.
Keep an eye out on.
I just don't like it.
What are you, a Crip?
I like blue. So what does that make
Oh,
me?
wow.
That's a Crip.
He's a Crip.
That's a Crip.
I'm not a blood, I'm a Crip.
Yeah. Keep an eye out on this on sportsradio610.com. But the leg hiking is the Dat Win documentary is going to be one of the best documentaries you will see this year.
It is, and you and I did a interview with Dat because he has such an incredible story. 12th Man Productions putting it out. It's coming out
1-3 against Texas.
July 4th, and he's 0-3 against Texas.
1-3.
1-3 against Texas. And it's going to be on ESPN and SEC Network, and it is tremendous. There's not many people who've overcome what Dat Win did.
You got to keep an eye out. His story is freaking incredible. Literally on a boat for 2 weeks.
He told some stories. We probably ought to do another one with him because a couple he told afterward we didn't have time for were unbelievable guy. And so check it out. It'll be on the website. We'll be tweeting it like crazy.
You love Dat, huh?
I do like Dat a lot. He was featured speaker at the Lombardi banquet that Will Anderson won the Lombardi Award, and Dat had a lot of great stories. And comes here a lot with the Gridiron Legends. He's just a tremendous person. Pretty good player, too, even though he was an Aggie.
He was good. He's a good ball player, man. Yeah. Hell, ball player. All-time Big 12. Great.
He was.
For sure. Yep. No doubt. John, we appreciate you, man.
Thank you, guys. Look for my columns and podcasts with Sean Pendergast on sportsradio610.com. Thank you for getting me on. Next time I'll try to figure out the exact
next leg
right
hiking was
time.
John McClain has had to reschedule so often he doesn't know when he comes on In the Loop.
That's true. That's true. Thanks, guys, very much.
The great John McClain here on In the Loop on Sports Radio 610. Yeah, he was early.
It was a little early. That's right.
Rise and grind, baby.
Donde a la biblioteca?
Yeah.
Rise and grind, baby.